Hi everyone, I'm Dave Seabrook, the manager of Fredericton Tourism in beautiful Officer Square in downtown Fredericton. Our National Historic Site, the birth of the Canadian military, a place where we hold community events and festivals and concerts and changing of the guard. And today we thought we'd take you for a walk around Officer Square and show you some of the current state of infrastructure. There's been a lot of talk in the community about Officer Square, and I thought it was good for everyone just to take a look for themselves. So we'll take a walk. One of the real challenges in Officer Square is the grass. The grass is uneven generally. It's very compacted soil. We've had so many events over the years. Really, there's not much grass in the square if you walk around. It's a lot of weeds, a lot of patches. We have tried to sod this grass. We have tried to reseed this grass. We've aerated the grass. It's really a challenge, and every time it rains, the water pools throughout the square and further compacts the grass as people play on it. So that's one of the real challenges we have here in Officer Square. Throughout Officer Square, you'll see these crusher dust paths that have been laid down, sort of improvised throughout the space. And that's really because these are lines of desire that have been tread down in ruts and mud and really became unworkable. And whether it's for the skating rink or pedestrian traffic at festivals or small trucks coming into the square to service the festivals, these really aren't appropriate here for a National Historic Site. So that's one of the challenges we have in the space. Here on the stage, we have a number of problems. The entire substructure of this stage is rotten. You can see here on the sides, boards coming out. You can literally pull out pieces of wood with your hand. We've got masonry, unstable, unsafe. The electrical system has, a couple of years ago, we had it refit with a Band-Aid solution. The contractor told us this electrical system was end of life. We've had people get minor shocks from it. It really needs to be completely replaced. We're here on the old foundation of the old married quarters building beside the Fredericton Region Museum, and I'm here with Sean Lee, the Assistant Director of Engineering and Operations for the City of Fredericton. And Sean, this area is in particularly bad shape. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, as we look around, it's an old mortar foundation with stone, and you're seeing the mortar joints start to give way, and the stone is starting to loosen up, kind of over in this area down here. The stone is loosening up, and the wall's starting to come down and fall down a little bit. So not a good place if you want to have a lot of people or the public present.
Yeah, and obviously if we look, you can see, the wooden floorboards here are completely eroded and rotten, and you can literally take pieces of it out in your hand. So it's in pretty rough shape and not really particularly safe for people. Sean, there's been a lot of community discussion about the wall and the fence along the perimeter of Officer Square. I know recently you had a study done by the engineering firm CBCL. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, essentially they broke the study down into two main components. The first was the upper part, which is the railings, the posts, and the caps. And one of their big concerns was this upper part isn't fully connected to the lower retaining wall. So unfortunately what it means is you can do something like this and the whole upper section is loose and not connected, so it could fall and cause a problem if anyone were down below it.
So Sean, the other concern from the CBCL report was the wall itself, which is actually a retaining wall for Queen Street in addition to being a wall for the fence. So maybe you could tell us about that.
Yeah, so the lower retaining wall it's a retaining wall. So it's a rubble stone retaining wall with some mortar joints on the inside. If you look at the wall itself, it is starting to move, and as it's moving, it's cracking, and the upper stone posts and caps are not staying attached to the wall itself. So what we've seen is the wall is moving. As it moves, the upper caps start to waver a bit and become disconnected, which poses a safety hazard for being below it.
So Sean, we've taken a look at a number of the pieces of infrastructure in Officer Square, and I think the important thing is it's not one piece of infrastructure, it's a number of pieces of infrastructure in Officer Square that are all reaching end of life around the same time. And that's really why the city acquired Officer Square in 2016, was to try to holistically look at the space and deal with it. And there's things here that we haven't even talked about, like the sidewalks are heaving, creating trip lines. So there's a number of problems here.
Yeah, and with a project like this, once you start any one component of it, you're jumping into another component as well. So if you're touching the sidewalks, then you deal with the grass. If you're dealing with the grass, then it deals with other components within the job itself.
So it's quite a complex, interrelated set of things here. And obviously this is going to be an ongoing community conversation, so we'll see where it goes.